Shout out Puerto Rico, you would think that boy Camacho. All I really do is rap, I don't sing no high notes. Every Sunday, gotta check the aftermath. Make sure you hit the like button with a jab. You would think it's Cotto versus Paulie Brody whipped his ass. Lil' bro punching shit like it's everlast. Taking L's to the chin, your shit made of glass. Shade Stadium Jet seen an Ollie Norton fight. He witnessed Ollie take a loss. He seen Loma versus Haney, Devin should've lost too. Man, it is what it is, it ain't nothing we can do. They can copy shit, no this ain't no 3D printer. Once I'm done with this track, I'll probably eat some dinner. Electro been on YouTube since the beginning. On the YTBC, man, this shit never ended. Bitch, my bars hot like this shit Albuquerque. Bitch say so fly as hell, but no, I ain't no birdie. Electro from NYC, don't know about New Jersey. Shout out to the tavern, bitch, we on it bright and early. Shout out to this white cake. Once again, Lomachenko beat the fuck out of Devin Haney. They probably want a part 2 shit, I'm like maybe. Back to this rat shit, I've been chillin' lately. Brody whip his ass, call him Felix Trinidad. Yeah, you hear this track, bitch, I'm really in my bag. Nah, Brody whip his ass like he Carlos Ortiz. Cooking up this intro, man, I'm doing it with ease. Subscribe to the channel, Jed, almost at 1,000. KO the sub button like it's Mike Tyson. Gotta grow the channel, have it bigger than a bison. All off the top, you know me, I ain't right. G-Bells on the beat. One more time, Devin versus Loma was a masterclass. Every Sunday, man, y'all better check that aftermath. If you don't like Pedraza, we gon' whoop your ass.
What's up, guys? How you doing? You are officially having a conversation with me and my brother Black and Brown is in the house. He has his own channel. He's the man. Make sure you subscribe to him. All the links will be down below. This is a conversation. This is not a live event. We are going to sit down here and talk. We just, Black and Brown and I just now finished watching highlights to both the Canelo Alvarez Ryder fight and the Munguia Deverenchenko fight, just so we can have this conversation. So, Black and Brown, welcome very much. Welcome to the stream. I really hope this goes well for us.
It'll go really well. Thank you for having me, Electro Jet, and I appreciate being the first guest on these conversations, on these boxing conversations that you're going to have.
I appreciate that.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's going to work out.
Oh, well, let's get to it. Let's start the conversation off with the fight between Jaime Munguia and John Ryder. This is what's being said on YouTube and a lot of the internet. Both you and I know that this is supposed to be a quote-unquote wash. This is supposed to be a fairly simple fight. Now, from what I've seen, I can't speak for you, but from what I've seen, after watching these highlights, plus I've been reviewing other videos, I don't think it's going to be a wash whatsoever. I think this is going to be a very important fight for Munguia. How do you feel about that and what's been said?
I don't see Munguia getting in the ring and washing very many of his opponents. Every time he gets in the ring, they're entertaining fights. They're back and forth. Rock'em sock'em fights. That's just what he brings to the table. And I've never seen John Ryder just go in there and get washed. So for someone to say it's going to be a wash, I'd have to see it for me to believe that, because like I said, I don't see Munguia washing very many of his opponents, and I don't see John Ryder getting washed. And John Ryder has been in the ring with proven champions. He arguably beat Callum Smith. He gave Canelo a run for his money, made Canelo go all 12. Seemed like he got stronger as the fight went on. John Ryder is all grit and determination. So I don't think he's getting washed at all. And we can get into a little bit more, Electro Jed, and I can break even more shit down and bring even more reasons why I don't think this fight will be a wash.
I agree with you. Piggybacking off of what you said, I mean, there was a lot of controversy as to why Canelo fought Ryder. Ryder, in my opinion, it was a well deserved chance at the belts with Canelo. He was the mandatory, and who did he fight for that mandatory?
What did he fight? Callum Smith? No. Before he fought Callum Smith, he fought it was after, but who did he fight? He fought Zach Parker.
I can't remember dude's name.
Zach Parker.
Parker, exactly. He fought Parker.
Yep.
Zach Parker. Because he beat Parker, it was the reason why he became the mandatory for Canelo. Wasn't it for the WBC belt?
I don't think it was the WBC, but we can say that he fought Zach Parker and he earned that shot at Canelo Alvarez. He earned it inside the ring. And us as boxing fans, that's what we appreciate the most. If we see you earn it inside the ring, well, then we give you the credit. But some of these guys, they want to earn it through Twitter and through their fan base, calling the fighter out. But us boxing fans, we want to see you earn that shit inside the ring. And John Ryder definitely beat Zach Parker to earn that shot at Canelo Alvarez.
Most definitely. It was a well-deserved fight. And the fight that he had with Canelo, that was an incredible display of not only stamina, but heart. The man is, as we were talking earlier, very resilient. And I thought that if to be completely honest, if we had this is my opinion, if we still had 15-round fights, I think he might have had a shot, because Canelo was definitely tired in that 12th round.
Now, we all know that there's no way in hell Canelo can fight 15 rounds. Canelo can barely make it 12. There's no way in hell Canelo's making it 15 rounds. And you're right. John Ryder started coming on late. It seems like the more and more the fight went on, the more and more Canelo was busting him up, the more and more he rose to the occasion, and he looked really good late in that fight.
He did. He came on from what I was watching the fight. From what I remember from the fight, watching it, it was like round 7. I think it was round 7. Could have been round 6, but round 7 on, it seemed as though he gotten stronger. He had gotten a second wind, because he was pretty static. He was taking more than he was giving in the beginning rounds, but later on he was out there. And one thing I did want to mention is his build. He is a very stocky, wide fighter, very similar to Canelo.
Yeah, and anybody with that stature is going to give problems to the taller guy.
Yeah,
you've seen what kind of issues he gave Callum Smith. So he's comfortable being the smaller guy. You see Beterbiev a few weeks ago, the problems he gave Callum Smith. So these shorter guys, they learn to fight at that disadvantage, and they become hard to deal with, very hard to deal with. And that's what Munguia is going to have to deal with this coming week. And we just see Munguia have issues and struggle with the shorter guy in Derevyanchenko. Yeah. So I think the stature of both fighters is going to work in John Ryder's favor.
I do too. I feel that way. And Ryder has a very, you had mentioned it first, he has a very sneaky uppercut. And it's right there, and especially right down the middle. Mm-hmm. And this could be problematic for Munguia, for sure.
Well, okay. Well, before I get into the main reason why I'm worried for Munguia, I'll get into the stylistic matchup. And since the beginning, I've always liked Jaime. I like what they're doing with Jaime, but there's holes in Jaime's game since the beginning, since his DAZN debut, since I think he debuted on Canelo's Triple G 2018 or 2017. He debuted on Canelo Triple G's undercard, I think. And ever since then, he went on and fought Dennis Hogan, which I think he lost that fight. He has had huge defensive holes. And people would tell me, oh, Black and Brown, Eric Morales is going to fix those, or Eric Morales has fixed them. But no, I can see with my own two eyes the defensive lapses, the irresponsibility on defense is still there, and it ain't going nowhere. It's just how Jaime fights. And those defensive lapses that he has, they're going to come up and bite him in the ass in this fight. John Ryder's going to have his opportunities, and he's going to have his moments in this fight. Now, do I think he wins the fight? Oh, I don't know. We'll talk about it at the end of this video. But it's not like you said in the beginning. There's no way in hell this is going to be a wash. The stylistic matchup will just not allow it. John Ryder's heart will not allow it. Jaime Munguia's defensive irresponsibilities won't allow it.
No, it will not. Now we've discussed the us watching the highlights of the Canelo Ryder fight. Now we'll discuss the highlights of the Munguia Derevyanchenko highlights. I'm pretty sure you saw the fight. I know I saw it live on TV. I did the pay-per-view. I am going to say
I think that night there was 2 cards on that night, and we had to choose between the Munguia fight, and I don't remember what the other fight that was on that night, but I watched the other fight. I think it was a PBC fight. I don't remember. And I had to go back and watch the Munguia Derevyanchenko fight. And I was just amazed. I was pissed at myself for not watching this fight live. I thought it was fight of the year right when I watched it, and it did end up winning fight of the year. So,
yeah. Well, I did watch the fight. I did watch the fight, and like you, I like Jaime Munguia. I like Munguia. To be completely honest, I've always liked him. I want to see him do good. I would love to see him win belts, but to win belts, to become champion, you have to fix the holes in your game. If you don't, it's just not going to happen because the other guy is going to be better. You're going to run into that one that's going to find and fill them holes. And Munguia, in my honest opinion, has a lot of holes in not only his offensive strategy, but his defensive strategy, if you can call it a defensive strategy.
yeah.
I know a lot of people joke that Munguia blocks punches with his face, but goddamn, that's not far from the truth.
And my issue with Munguia's defense is not that he gets hit; it's the fashion he gets hit. He gets hit clean on the jaw. They're clean hit that he doesn't see coming. Everybody gets hit in the sport of boxing, unless you're going to run like Shakur Stevenson. But everybody's going to take hits. Everybody's going to get hit once or twice in a fight. Munguia, it's the fashion he gets hit. They're clean punches on the jaw. They're clean punches on the temple that he does not see coming. And they're at the end of his punches, he'll throw a hook. His hook will be coming to an end, and he'll just take a clean one on the jaw. And it's been happening for years now. And the Derevyanchenko fight is really the fight. It really stood out, and they got the best of him in that fight. And good for him. He fought through it, and he ended up getting the victory. He showed his heart and determination. So good for him. But these defensive holes, they're gonna bite his ass. They're gonna get him. And I don't know if it's gonna be the John Ryder fight, but he definitely has holes in his defense.
Yeah, because Derevyanchenko was able to get clean straight shots and uppercuts into that, because Munguia has a definite hole in his high guard. His high guard, the middle is too open. And I've seen several times where the straight and a hook, the right hook came in, and Munguia didn't see it.
What I think it is, Jed, with the high guard with Munguia is I think he shows the high guard, but mentally he's not in a high guard. He's just showing it. So mentally he's ready to deliver a punch. Physically he's showing you a high guard, but he's not really in a high guard. He's just showing you that. That's why you could break his high guard so easy, because it's just showing you a high guard and he's getting ready to come out of that high guard and throw a punch. And that's why it looks so weak of a high guard, because it's really not. It's a fucking like a mirage a little bit.
No, you're absolutely right. And I have, excuse me, I have no problem with him engaging, but here's my issue though. If Munguia continues to fight in this manner, all right, how long is his career gonna last? Because it doesn't take much for a boxer to become punchy and get that permanent damage. I don't want to see any boxers suffer from that. But Munguia does take a high volume of punches. Now, what I do like about Munguia is that he does deliver a nice high volume of punches. He likes throwing them punches. Maybe to a fault because his punch accuracy isn't as high as I think it should be. And that takes a lot of wind out of a fighter when you miss a lot. But he does throw them out there, and he throws a good punch. I mean, he has decent power. His power is respected at the 168 level. I mean, no one is calling him pillow fisted whatsoever. Now, I know some 168 pounders that they're feather fisted for sure. And Munguia is not one of them.
Yeah, I
so
definitely think
he's got respectable power.
Definitely has respectable power. One thing I want to point out too is John Ryder's ring IQ and is able to judge and control distance. He's definitely a professional when it comes to that aspect. So when you mix in his ring IQ, his ring generalship, and his heart and determination, he's going to be a handful. And like you talked about him being very sneaky with that uppercut and being able to time it. And so the things that John Ryder brings to the table are some of the things that are going to work in his favor, because those are the things Munguia has holes with. Munguia, like you said earlier, he telegraphs his punches. So very easy to time. He is very irresponsible on defense, so he's very easy to counter. He's open in the high guard, so he's very easy to come up the middle. And John Ryder is really good at all those things. So we're going to continue going back. We're going to Electro Jail. We're going to continue talking, and we're going to continue going back to why this is going to be a very competitive fight.
Yeah, I mean, the reason, like you were saying, that his fights are always exciting, and this is true. Munguia's fights are always exciting. But one of the reasons why I think they're so exciting is that because he's not afraid to mix it up in the phone booth with these guys. If you don't know what that means, you boxing fans should. But when you fight in close, when you're on the inside all the time, when you're mixing it up in the phone booth, I mean, he's not afraid to engage. And I love that about any fighter. If they're not afraid to get in there, Munguia is not afraid. He shows no fear when he fights. All right. But he shows a lot of irresponsibility. And the fights look so good because he's getting hit as he's hitting, which makes the fight look good. But to be truthful, if you know what to look for, this could be problematic. Especially if it's a fighter you like and you're not going to see him for what it really is. I'm a true boxing fan. You're a true boxing fan, Black and Brown, and we look for stuff like that. I don't fanboy over no fighter. I may like fighters and I might be a fan, but a fanboy I'm not. I am going to say for real what the problem is, and I want to see them improve on that. And I'd like to see them fight fighters that are going to capitalize that night and see if they closed the holes that they had previous, in which Munguia has.
Yeah. You want us as boxing fans, we look for progression. We look how you progress from fight to fight. We notice holes in your game, and we keep track, and we want to see you fix those holes. So it's not criticism. It's not biased criticism. It's just honest, unbiased boxing fan, us pointing out what we see. And over the time, we have tuned into Munguia, and we've tried to see him fix these holes, and he just has not. And I don't know if he ever will. A second ago, you brought up his defense. I don't think he has a defensive game plan. I think his offense is his defense. I think he wants to overwhelm his opponents. He wants to put a high work rate on his opponents, and that's what he relies on. And against smart, intelligent fighters like John Ryder and Derevyanchenko, they're able to counter. They're able to time. You know, that
Yeah.
you got to bring a little bit more to the table. So, again, another reason why this is going to be a competitive fight.
This is going to be a highly competitive fight, and I'm looking forward. I'm excited. I've been excited about this fight.
Well, it seems like every time Jaime fights, people are excited. That's one thing the kid got going for him. He's a fucking exciting fighter. He's an active fighter. He's always headlining. He's always main eventing 2-3 times a year. Look at it. They might not be getting him the big championship fights, but they sure are promoting him well.
They are.
He definitely ducked Jonabek. They ran away from the Jonabek fight, and there's no protecting or hiding from that fact. But if I'm honest, Jonabek, horrible stylistic matchup. And De La Hoya knew it. Jonabek he's too sharp and he's too accurate. And he's too fucking agile.
He's got a high punch accuracy for sure.
He's too fucking agile. So you put him in there with a Jaime Munguia, but that might not have been a good matchup. So yeah, he ducked Jonabek, but I'm not gonna say I don't blame him. I'm gonna say smart move.
I'm gonna say this though, and I'm an advocate for taking the training gloves off. I do not believe in coddling, prospects. I mean, I could understand the first maybe 10 fights. I can get that. But once you get in them double digits, you need to keep progressing and fight better and better and better opponents. But if you stay at the same level of opponents and all you're doing is padding your numbers, well, then that's all you're doing is padding your numbers. And you're not doing anything. And this I throw on the management and the coaches. If you're not doing anything to improve your fighter, all you're doing is handing them a future bad loss.
No, definitely. I agree with that 100%. You said 10 fights. I use the age of 25 years old. Once you hit the age of 25 years old, you should not be protected. You're a full-grown ass man at the age of 25, and the gloves are off. Like you said, training wheels have to come off at the age of 25 years old. And if they don't, again, like you said, all you're doing is just building that record. You're not even building your experience in the ring. You're not progressing as a fighter. You're not testing yourself. You're really doing nothing but padding that record. That's all you're doing. Your resume ain't building. Your skill set in the ring isn't growing. You're not testing yourself. You're not getting no good names on the resume. So, yeah, once you hit the age of 25, it's time to start progressing. And I think Munguia's already 27. 27 years old. And his last two fights, Derevyanchenko and John Ryder, I can't complain. Pretty good fights, pretty good opponents, but you can't take steps backwards from here. You got to keep taking steps forward. And once you get into a John Ryder, which is top 8, top 9 at 168, you got to get into the top 5. You got to get into that upper echelon of 168ers now. There's no going back from here.
There should be no reason. There should be no reason for him not to fight top 15, top 10, top 5. Munguia's got 42 victories under his belt, no losses. He's not a knockout puncher, granted. No one said he was. He's a good puncher, and he's got respectable power. But 42 wins, and looking at the resume, you have to question what is going on. Like I said, this is me speaking to the coaches and the management. What is going on there? Because them 42 wins, out of them 42 wins, there should be a shit ton of top 10, top 15 fighters. And when I do my research, his average have been in the 20s, 25s. Early in his career, yeah, they were in the 30s, but within the past 4 years, the average has been in the 20s and up in the teens, the mid-teens. There's no reason why he's not fighting. There should be no reason why he shouldn't fight a top 10 fighter. This is problematic for me. And I don't put that so much on the fighter. I put that on the management team because the fighter is going to do what the management and the coaches say.
You want to know what
That's
I think
my part of it.
Coach Ed? I think it is the same thing that we see, the defensive lapses, the defensive irresponsibilities, the telegraphing of the punches. I think Oscar De La Hoya and Eric Gomez and the management at Golden Boy, I think they see it too. They see it too, and they're slow playing Jaime. They don't want to rush him in there because they know any one of these guys could take him out. He could be taken out at any moment, and they don't want to ruin him. They see the same holes we see, and they don't want to ruin them, so they're slow playing them.
Do you think that they might be protecting the O too much?
I don't think they're protecting the O as much as they're protecting the fighter because of the clean punches he takes. I think it's he is not defensively responsible and he cannot defend himself. So they're protecting him from an ugly loss. Not so much the O, because if you go in there and you lose a tough 12-round decision to a Derevyanchenko, no big deal. That's not a big deal. You can bounce back from that. But you go in there and get your shit knocked out, and you get put to sleep, that damages a fighter. He could end up being damaged goods. And that's what they're protecting against. I don't think it's so much the O. They're protecting the fighter himself. And if I can keep going, Electro Jet, before we end this interview, this conversation, the main thing I'm worried about Jaime in this fight, we talked about all the stylistic matchups. We talked about the matchup inside the ring. We broke down the fight. The main thing that has me worried for Jaime is I don't know if he's rushing back in the ring too soon. The fight with Derevyanchenko, it wasn't that long ago. I think 6-7 months ago. And that sounds like a long time if the Derevyanchenko fight was not as rough and rugged as it was. If he didn't take as much damage as he took in that fight. I think maybe he should be fighting a softer opponent. I know you guys ain't going to like this, but I think the opponent should be a little bit softer based on the damage he took in his last fight. That's what has me worried. I don't know if it's going to catch up to him in this fight. It could possibly. Now, the stylistic matchup and the way these two styles mesh in the ring, great, good. It's all good. It's going to be a great fight. But what has me really worried for Jaime, if he's overworked and if he's still showing signs from that Derevyanchenko fight. I don't like how quick it is because of how much head damage he took. He took a lot of big shots to the head. He was wobbled in the 7th round. Derevyanchenko damn near had him stopped in the 7th round. And here we are 6 months later, and he's jumping right back in the ring with another very, very good opponent. So that is my main concern going into this fight. Is Jaime Munguia going to be overworked? The same way we seen Alexis Rocha, he was definitely overworked. The same way we seen Bam Rodriguez, when Bam Rodriguez was on the undercard of the Canelo fight, he was overworked. That is a thing in this sport of boxing. You could be overworked, and it will come back and bite you in the ass out of nowhere. When you don't even think it's coming, you get into that ring, and you realize, damn, my knees are not as strong as they have been in the past. So overall, that's my main concern for Jaime. Is he overworked, and is he still showing signs from that Derevyanchenko fucking war he was just in?
See, I am of a slightly different opinion, and here's what I mean. I think that Derevyanchenko fight, or fights like that with that quality opponent, should have happened earlier. To be completely honest, that Derevyanchenko fight should have happened a year before it did, because this is my opinion. That if you're not gonna get any better and you're not gonna learn, get it done quickly. Because if you're going to stay in the game for any serious amount of time and you're not going to learn and improve, get it over quickly. Because I don't want to see damaged good. I don't want to see a boxer permanently damaged. I don't want to see a boxer at 32 like, duh! No, I don't want to see that. That breaks my heart.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not here for that. I'm here for the brutality, but I don't ever want to see these fighters be permanently damaged. I don't want to see him die inside the ring. Yeah, I'm not here for that. But I love the brutality of the sport. That's why I love the sport the way I do. But up to a certain extent. I don't want to see these guys not be able to enjoy their life and have permanent damage from the sport of boxing. I don't want to see that.
All right, last thing to end the conversation, we're going to talk about what our picks are, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'll start off.
Okay.
First of all, I do think it's going to go the distance. This fight's, I do believe this fight's going to go the full 12. It's going to be decision. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a very close match. I'm thinking 7-5, 8-4. As of right now, I got Munguia slightly ahead, but I would not be surprised if Ryder pulls it off. To be completely honest, it wouldn't surprise me if Ryder wins. But I got Munguia 7-5, 8-4 at best.
I have it pretty much the same. I'm going to say that I think it'll be another fight of the year candidate. I think John Ryder will hold his own. He will come on late the same way he did against Canelo. The more beaten you put on him, the stronger and stronger he gets. He rises up to the challenge. You put a beating on him, he has a lot of pride. I think his nickname is the White Gorilla, right? If I'm not mistaken. He's the White Gorilla, if I'm not mistaken. That's his nickname. And he has the fucking heart of a gorilla. He ain't going out like that, you know. He ain't going to get embarrassed in that ring. He's not going to get outclassed in that ring. He's going to hold his own in that ring. So I got maybe a split decision. Like you said, 7-5, 8-4, somewhere around there. Another fight of the year candidate for Jaime Munguia.
I agree with you. Guys, this is the first episode of A Conversation, Munguia versus Ryder. Black and Brown, thank you so much. I appreciate you being my first guest.
Yep.
And please subscribe to Black and Brown if you're not already. One of the best channels out there when it comes to the YTBC community. And there's no bullshit there. I guarantee.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Electro Jet. I can talk boxing all day. I love talking boxing. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for having me on your channel to talk a little boxing. Hey, anytime you want to do it again, Electro Jet, you got my number. Give me a call.
Sure will. Peace out, everybody. And my intro, extra. Later, guys.
Shout out to Electro Jet. Shout out Puerto Rico. You would think that boy Camacho. All I really do is rap. I don't sing no high notes. Every Sunday, gotta check the aftermath. Make sure you hit the like button with a jab. You would think it's Cotto versus Paulie Brody whipped his ass. Little bro punching shit.